Boston Butchers clash. Experience Team Boxing League inside the Nashville Municipal Auditorium.
Nashville is the site for tonight's TBL showdown. Who will hit the high notes in Music City, the Boston Butchers or the Nashville Smash? Hi, everybody. Welcome inside our TBL studios. Dave Fontempo, along with my longtime pal, Al Bernstein. Couple of teams, Al, who have a lot in common. Number one, they're both in the playoffs as of right now. Two, they both need a victory tonight. And three, they both have a good nucleus of talent.
Yeah, Dave, they really do. You know, neither team is probably happy with their 1-2 record. But what they do have are several fighters each on their roster that they know they can go to when they need a win at a certain point in a match. And for the Boston Butchers, you need to look no further than Rashidi Ellis. He is one of the most consistent winners in the TBL ever. And this year, he has showcased some power. He put down Giovanni Estella in beating him, flashing a wicked right hand in the process. And then Lasha Gurgliani, another proven winner, suffered 2 knockdowns at the hands of Ellis. Will we see this power here tonight from Rashidi Ellis? Now, the man he's facing, middleweight Isaiah Elrod, has been a solid performer for Nashville. His 3-1 record this season is augmented by this stoppage of Edwin Sevilla, and this produced 4 points for the Smash. And he has a tough assignment tonight with 2 matches against Rashidi Ellis, one of the best.
Rashidi Ellis, of course, hit the 30-win plateau mark earlier this season, so he has been a stellar performer throughout the league. And in fact, I think there's a little sense of deja vu with him with the round to watch.
There is indeed. It is round 7, which features Ellis and Elrod. How could I make it anything else? And listen, Ellis, the last time out, while he did knock down Estella, also lost a decision to Estella. So for Isaiah Elrod, Dave, there is hope. It can be done.
Yes, once in a while that does happen. We are happy to be joined by the third member of our broadcast team, Amelia Moore. Amelia, how are you, and what is your report for us from ringside?
Hey, Dave, I'm well, and it's always good to hear you in my ear. So tonight, round 11, you guys cannot blink on this. It's a generational clash. We are so fortunate to have the debut of Sage Rosario. She's a 19-year-old phenom that just last week, I don't know if anybody knows, but the National Golden Gloves tournament was last week, and she won it again at 154 pounds for the 2nd year in a row. She's a 12-time national champion and an undefeated wrestler with like 88-0 matches. I mean, this is insane. She's chosen to make her debut with the Boston Butchers, and across from her is Susanna Rodriguez Griffin, who's without doubt one of the true trailblazers of women's boxing. In the beginning of her career, she was denied by so many promoters, and she forged on, she paved the way, and she became Indiana's first professional female boxer. So again, we have a completely unstoppable force in Sage Rosario, and we have an unshakable legacy here with Griffin. So you guys tune in. I think it's going to be something incredible to watch.
Thank you, Amelia. So will Sage become a TBL Sage tonight? That's one of the many questions up before us. The fighters are coming in. The fans are assembled. TBL boxing straight ahead. It's Boston and Nashville. Don't go away. We'll meet the fighters in a moment. Team Boxing League is brought to you by Balance of Nature. In boxing, consistency beats intensity. Balance of Nature supplements help you stay consistent with ingredients of whole foods you can easily slot into your daily routine. Go to balanceofnature.com, use code TEAM, and start today. All right, we're getting ready to meet the fighters, Boston and Nashville. Let's go inside the ring. You see the TBL Bellas, a nice addition to our league this year. Hello, who do you like in this contest tonight? We'll get it started. Here is Ray Flores.
Welcome to the next chapter of non-stop high-impact action. This is Team Boxing League, where every round matters and every fighter leaves it all inside the TBL ring. Each moment of TBL season airs live on MSG Network, along with Envoy TV with Spanish language coverage available on Estrella TV. Welcome to the Municipal Auditorium here in Nashville, Tennessee, for tonight's Week 9 TBL matchup between the visiting Boston Butchers and your hometown Nashville Smash. We would like to thank the Tennessee Athletic Commission for hosting tonight's event, along with Executive Director Roxana Gumuxio for being a part of this outstanding event. Also to our sponsors, Climax Moonshine, Fire Number 32, Balance of Nature, Serenity Springs Recovery Center, and HotelPlanner.com. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the visiting Boston Butchers.
Now, here's been one of the good teams in the league. A lot of rivalries that they've had with teams like Philadelphia and New York. You can look at this roster. Good team. Trying to get one more level above. Cruz and Ellis have been studs on this Boston team. So Skylar Lacy lead the team in. Get a look at Ellis.
Yeah, they ran into Miami their last time out. Miami, has been a great performer this season.
Yeah, Miami, one of
The Boston Butchers are led by Jimmy Birchfield and head coach Alex Rivera.
Stellar
Here is
teams,
the
Miami.
starting lineup for Boston. Unprecedented 10-time New York Golden Gloves champion, multi-time national champion in 2020, Puerto Rican Olympian bantamweight Christina Hell's Kitchen Cruz. Featherweight Eric Emery. Featherweight Natalie Gage. 2020 Olympian representing the Dominican Republic, lightweight Alexia de la Cruz. Welterweight Kino Luna. Current WBC U.S. Silver Champion, Super Welterweight Jaye Golden Child Brown. Current WBC Silver Champion, ranked number 2 in the world by the WBO. He's a 2-time TBL All-Star and most exciting fighter, middleweight Rashidi Speedy Ellis. Heavyweight Michael Coffie. Lightweight Hebrew Francois. 12-time USA National Champion, 4-time Junior Olympic gold medalist, back-to-back Golden Gloves National Champion, Sage Rosario. Welterweight Javon Bess. Super middleweight Ronald Ellis. Light heavyweight Stephen Sumpter. Cruiserweight Miguel Deo. Former National Golden Gloves champion heavyweight Skylar Lacy. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the Boston Butchers. And now we want to welcome your hometown Nashville Smash.
All right, so the Nashville Smash in a host role as they try to get win number 2. Season debut for 4 fighters tonight. Last match, a 11-16. They gave some good efforts against Dulay, just not enough. Leechman and Elrod. Saw Elrod and Al's highlights in the beginning. And Leechman also has been a major leader on this team, +7. So talk about the nucleus. Yes, they do have that. Both teams hoping they maybe get some more out of their new fighters tonight. So many similarities with these
the
teams.
Nashville Smash, esteemed trainer, Mr. Fred Dulay. Here is the starting lineup for Nashville. Bantamweight Bianca Ortega. Featherweight Josh Showtime Johnson. 2-time Indiana State Golden Gloves champion. Featherweight bare knuckle Brock Evans. Lightweight Roger Hilly. Welterweight Yasir Riley. Super welterweight Adrian Phillips. Middleweight Isaiah Elrod. 2-time Massachusetts State and Regional Golden Glove champion. Heavyweight Stephon the Rottweiler Moss. Featherweight Shelby Cannon. Lightweight Austin Dulay. Super lightweight Susanna Griffin. Welterweight Kyle Walden. Super middleweight one, just business Barajas. Light heavyweight William Langston. 5-time Golden Glove State champion, 3-time national champion cruiserweight D'Angelo, the Memphis Madman Leechman. And heavyweight Danny Barlo. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you all please rise if you're able to for the singing of our national anthem being performed tonight by outstanding vocalist Adele Borchetta.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Adele Borchetta with the singing of our national anthem. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to begin the launch rounds between the visiting Boston Butchers and your hometown Nashville Smash. We begin at 118 pounds. For Boston, Christina Cruz. Nashville, Bianca Ortega.
All right, so there you get a look at Christina Tough Cookie Cruz. She suffered a broken nose in the middle of last year, came back about a month later and continued to fight. I mean, you talk about overcoming things, and it was just a bad collision in that mid-season fight. So this 43-year-old shows a lot in coming back. She lost for the IBF flyweight title 2024.
Yeah, facing Gabriela Fundora. Tough assignment there. One of the best pound-for-pound boxers in women boxing.
Saw Cruz for the New York team last year, so this is a new outfit for her.
Yeah, Ortega making her debut in TBL, and she had a really good amateur career, runner-up in the Junior Olympics. She has a win over Samantha Sosa, who we've seen here in TBL this year, who's getting better and better each fight.
Amelia, you suffered a broken nose. You can relate to what happened with Christina Cruz. What about that, the fact she came back so soon last year?
I was so impressed by her coming back as quickly as she did. You know, she had told me she talked to the medical staff, and they were just like, you know, and it was such a complete break too. I was so surprised. Tina's a tank. You know, Christina Cruz has been in the game for so long. I was excited about this. There's so many good matchups tonight, right? Ortega is making her. I mean, she's already had fights here in TBL, but really this season is her rookie year. This is her pro debut, and this is two top national talents. You know, Tina's a seasoned pro, but this is the type of talent you want to see working against each other.
All right, the 43-year-old Cruz and the 24-year-old Ortega.
I mean, Cruz was 10-3 in season 3, but all those wins, interestingly, were against women with sub-500 records in TBL. So, not to take anything away from that, but that helped her a little bit in the process of getting those good wins. Both women in this match are trying to kind of cut the distance and be able to get their offense off.
And usually with Christina Cruz, it's been straight ahead, jab in the right hand.
And she's using that here tonight for sure. Ortega's mixed in the left hook a little bit. And there's those weapons you talked about, Dave. Just let's get the 1-2 working, and guess what? It's like the Green Bay Packers sweep. You know it's coming, but you can't stop it.
We need a seal here and a seal here, the great Vince Lombardi said. Yeah. We run the ball up the alley. And you know what you're getting with Christina Cruz, so it's a matter of the will. She tries to get on the board with her first win in this new campaign with her new team. All right, so they'll await the decision.
In that round, Cruz was able to use the jab, the lead right hand. There's a left hook from Ortega. She used that punch a lot and landed her own right as well. She was active in this match, and I don't know if her punches had the same pop as Cruz, and there's Cruz working those combinations. We'll see what the judges think.
Team Boxing League fans, the winner of round 1 by unanimous decision. From the Boston Butchers, Christina Cruz.
So Christina Cruz makes an impact on the new team.
Round 2 at featherweight, Boston, Emery. Nashville, Josh Johnson.
All right, so Eric Emery, 6-0. He's in 4-round company in traditional boxing. Supposedly will fight next week. We'll see. 5-4 in TBL. Lost to Victor Abreu among some of his top fights as a 25-year-old from Chicago. And DeAndre Johnson, 11-10 in TBL, but scored a TKO after losing a split decision the same night.
That's impressive. In his last outing, He won a split decision against Sean Brewer on April 26th.
So you see that Andre Johnson is up near the top point getters, and Emery is in the list. And he would climb up a step if he gets a win.
And even with that loss to Barlo, he's 3-1 this season, so he's making a solid contribution.
It's one of the great things about the league. You contribute to your team on a nightly basis. They might carry you on some nights when you're not on, and then some nights you come up big and you help them.
Both these men with similar styles and builds, and they're a little bit of mirror images of each other.
Johnson popping the right hand, trying to get the left hook to the body home, and a good, quick, sneaky right hand as he anticipated Emery coming to him.
Johnson has, in his last pro fight, with a TKO win over Ira Terry. So he has some pop. And Emery, 5 of his 6 KOs in boxing outside his TBL have been in the first round. So, you know, he has yet to go produce a knockout here in TBL in the one-rounders.
Such an interesting cross-section of fighters trying to get this format. Some pick it up right away. Some just incorporate it into their future styles. As these guys are closing the distance now.
Yeah, Johnson has had a really good sequence and has backed Emery against the ropes on a couple of occasions. He's been talking to him too a little bit. But here comes Emery.
And the elbow not called, so it was caught though. Who, me?
I wouldn't do that.
At final 30 seconds, Eric Emery and Leandric Johnson. Second fight of the night here. Boston leading 1-0. There's a shoulder to counter the elbow. Two guys who know some tricks.
Johnson's left hook has been a big, important weapon in this fight. It's the one punch that has differentiated the two of them a little bit.
All right, so good effort by Leandric Johnson.
And looking back at some of that offensive work, now there's the right hand of Johnson. He blended that occasionally too. And there's another one. So it wasn't restricted to the left hook. And when he got Emery backed up against the ropes, he was able to do some pretty good work. Not everything landing, and Emery trying to counterpunch off the ropes.
All right, so the aggressive Johnson or the counter-punching Emery. Who will get it?
TBL fans, the winner of round 2 by unanimous decision. From Nashville, Josh Johnson. The score, Boston 1, Nashville 1. Round 3 at featherweight, Boston, Natalie Gage. Nashville, Broad Evans.
Natalie Gage 0-2 in TBL. Losses to Brenda Cardenas and Aniela Lopez. Brooke Evans 2-1-1. In a traditional boxing rank, she's 1-5 here. But when she went to bare knuckle, she was the fight of the night. So we're talking about a lot of aggression. That's been her signature.
Yeah, she got a late start in boxing. Started boxing at 18, got some amateur fights, but it helped turn her life around. She had some drug issues and some other problems, and the late start in combat sports really helped her, especially when she turned pro. She is an aggressive fighter, as you see. She will come forward and go after it.
Yeah, different forms of fights that we've watched her with. Gets right to the action. Now, the interesting thing going forward will be, okay, how much of the sweet science will she eventually sprinkle into her persona, or is she just better unloading, as she's trying to do right here? Good shots here.
Good right hand by Evans, and Gage trying to counter her back. Gage is throwing some pretty good counter punches as well. Gage, a Brazilian jiu-jitsu expert who, believe it or not, was a ballerina before she got into combat sports, and she's a tough cookie.
Some of the backgrounds are incredible.
Yeah, it's fascinating. You know, Brooke Evans has really made the pace in this fight. But now we see Gage coming forward, and Gage did do some good counter punching.
One of those right-hand counters did stop the advance of Evans. So what we've got here, we've got an ebb and flow right now. I take my turn, you take your turn.
And Gage gets she has found the right as well, huh, Dave?
Yeah, good movement, setting it up. And that one a little bit more of a lead right hand from her behind the jab, and she eats another one. Okay, so the right hand fest is on with these two women. 1 minute to go.
You know, Brooke Evans won her first TBL fight. She's 0-5 since. But, boy, she wants to change that at this point. You can feel the intensity.
And she came right out of the gate here, landing a good right hand.
And Gage is fighting better than she did in her previous fight. That's the interesting thing. Even though Evans is getting a lot of good things done, I think the technique of Natalie Gage, who isn't primarily a boxer, right? Even she did some bare knuckles as well, but she's fighting better and technically more sound, I think, than she did.
And I think as she goes forward, we may even be seeing her sit down more on her punches.
Yeah, I agree. She's someone that's going to develop during the course of this second half of the season.
So Gage is coming in.
It's a good fight.
You're perfectly matched.
Yep,
same ideas,
absolutely.
same style, same jab is optional, and they went at it. Good entertainment.
Yeah, this was early in the round. Brooke Evans came out smoking and forced Natalie Gage to punch back, which she did, and this was a good sequence. But then the counter-punching started by Gage, and she was able to push Brooke Evans back, and there's part of the reason. Both women landed good right hands, and that was Gage's turn. It's an excellent match.
Team Boxing League fans, the winner of round 3 by way of unanimous decision. From the Nashville Smash, Brooke Evans.
All right, so Brooke Evans
the score, Nashville
off
2,
the schneid.
Boston 1.
Well earned.
Round 4 at lightweight, Boston, Alexia de la Cruz. Nashville, Roger Hilly.
All right, two very good fighters, different perspectives. Alexi de la Cruz, 9-0 as a pro since a traditional pro, 2022 to 2025, has 2 10-round decisions. And in TBL, he's also been very effective. Roger Hilly, one of my favorites, the blue-collar king.
Yeah.
We'll talk about him a little bit more in a minute. Amelia has a special guest with us. Go ahead.
So I'm here with Danny Barlo. You have made such a reputation with your knockout power by breaking into UFC with that. It's such an amazing tool that you have. Stepping into the boxing ring, you've joined Nashville. What are you looking to kind of cultivate within your skill set by stepping into boxing more?
I mean, I just want to really just sharpen up every individual tool. While I'm being a free agent, I just wanted to come like put some good work in with my hands. I've been just real unfamiliar with boxing, so I want to get more familiar with the sport. And it was the perfect opportunity, man. You know, Nashville, you know, it's a second home for me. You know, I was at Nashville MMA right before I made it to the UFC. out of Memphis, law school MMA. So it was just a great opportunity, man. I'm excited to be here, and I'm looking forward to just actually putting in some good work, getting our first heavyweight dub tonight.
And that's actually, you kind of talked about what I wanted to ask you next, was coming from Tennessee and kind of really representing this area. What is it like to be able to, this is such a different concept when it comes to actually representing the area, the state, and having a team to do so. It's like basketball. It's like one of the other major leagues. Kind of how that feels from coming from another major league like the UFC.
It just feels like it's so much pressure. And, this kind of matched the pressure, but it's like coming from that, it's just preparing me for the unexpected things, all new things like the lights, the TV, the wins, the losses, this turn you into a dog, but also turn you into a real professional. It's ready to step out any day and put on your gloves, no matter which type they are.
Amazing. We're looking forward to seeing you in your debut for TBL, man. Thank you for jumping on the mic with us. Dave, Al, back to you.
Okay, so Roger Hilly, I call him the blue collar king. He was 0-6-1 last year to start. Got 2 wins over Sherbeck Rakhmatulaev in the middle of the season. Then lost 6 in a row. Comes back this year. He's now won 3 in a row and got post-fight honors. So this is a guy that keeps on going and keeps on improving. And I've always loved his blue collar work ethic and his story about perseverance.
Yeah, he's a very good fighter whose TBL record is deceiving. His 14-1 record in regular pro boxing includes a fight against Josh Pagan, who's one of the best lightweight prospects around. And Hilly, I announced that fight. Hilly did a great job in that fight, lost the decision. But, as you say, he's a hard-working kind of a guy. And in against a tough fighter tonight, for sure.
Yeah, Alexi De La Cruz polished both as a traditional pro and in TBL, where he comes in here having won 3 in a row. So, good scrap put forth by Alexi De La Cruz for Boston, and Roger, the blue-collar king, Hilly, for Nashville.
As we look back at this round, the height and reach of De La Cruz, trying to use that as a help, but there's Hilly landing the good right hook. 2 southpaws battling away in there.
Team Boxing League fans, the winner of round 4 by way of unanimous decision from the Boston Butchers, Alexi De La Cruz. We are tied at 2 apiece between Nashville and Boston.
So De La Cruz makes it all even at 2-2. Boston and Nashville have traded some decision victories. We'll come back and continue in the launch rounds after this. flashes of aggression.
Well, Brown, much more flamboyant. And sometimes I think that has an impact because judges feel like somebody's confident they're winning. Now, Phillips, this is the part where Brown did a very good job of not letting Phillips land. That was that sequence in the middle of the round. But there were spots where he did get in. Here, nice right hand gets in from Phillips. Now, not all those landing, obviously, but he got a few shots in. And Brown did good offensive work as well in that round.
The winner of round 6 by split decision from the Boston Butchers, J.A. Brown.
So Brown gets the award for most demonstrative
Boston 3, Nashville
and
3.
a point.
He was shocked it was a split decision.
Round
I say shocked.
7 at middleweight.
But there are
Boston,
split decisions
Rashidi
going on here.
Ellis. Nashville, Isaiah Elrod.
All right, Ellis and Elrod are around to watch. I told you all about these guys at the top of the show with their highlights. Ellis has been one of the great stories in this league.
One of the interesting things about Ellis is that he fights in TBL as a middleweight, and in the rest of boxing, he will fight lower than that, 154 or 147.
You take a look at him in the standings right there with Giovanni Estella. Elrod, both of these guys are in the top point getters in their division. And Ellis, a combined record of 58-5 between traditional boxing and here. And Amelia, you've been around Ellis a lot. What are some of the intangibles that have made him who he is in this league?
I mean, he's Speedy Rashidi Ellis for the God-given ability to have the most amazing footwork. You know, and the two of these guys tonight matching up, Elrod's had really great success this season with having very long, straight, powerful punches. I mean, he's had success last year with knockouts because of that power that he's able to generate, being lengthy and being able to keep that length. Rashidi is the master at breaking through that. So, you know, a really great test for both of them. Rashidi doing what he does, being able to kind of slip in between and be very slippery, be very awkward, and still have his feet on strange angles. But then we have Elrod, who has good power and good length, and being able to kind of work through that too. So, great matchup.
I think one thing with Ellis, Al, is that you know, when he makes you miss and then scores,
yes,
they're all punitive. It's not just a tap.
You're absolutely right. That's such a good comment. And he's been so creative in this fight with the punches he's thrown. He landed a left uppercut from a place where you wouldn't normally land it. And his hand speed is what makes him special. I mean, it's in his nickname. But he just is very, very quick. And he's shown us, as we documented, more power this year with, several knockdowns. 2 in one fight, 1 in another. And especially with that right hand.
Yeah, and it comes so quick, and he sets himself. And there's this instant transition.
I definitely have to echo that, Al. You know, I think you're right. Rashidi's starting to learn how to sit down on things. And I feel traditionally they're like, he doesn't have knockout power. Well, he's like, let's step it up then. You know, let's prove you wrong. And along with that hand speed that he has, it's so overwhelming to be hit with that many punches, you know, as an opponent to be touched with that much work. And where does your mind go?
All right, 20 seconds to go in this round as Ellis and Elrod try to make their closing arguments to the judges. Good snapping right hand by Ellis, and just the type of instincts you can't teach. The lateral movement, the punching on the fly, and he does get caught there, but he's been elusive in general. So a good one.
Isaiah Elrod had a better last 30 seconds of the fight and of that round, and he did get some straight left hands in. He was, you know, trying to use his jab in the left to get to Ellis. There's that uppercut that Ellis threw from God knows where. You're not even supposed to throw an uppercut from that position, and he smiled afterwards as if to say, I can't believe I did that, and it worked perfectly.
If you're speedy enough,
TBL
you could break the
winner
rules.
of round 7 by unanimous decision. From the Boston Butchers, Rashidi Ellis.
So the Butchers get one that
The
they
score,
figured
Boston 4, Nashville 3.
they had to get. That's the guy that you're circling for a probable and necessary
Our
win.
final launch round will be in the heavyweight division. Boston, Michael Coffie. Nashville, Stefan Moss.
All right, so Michael Coffie, 7-8 in his 3rd year in TBL. Stefan Moss, 0-5. Lost 2 to Jonathan Rice, who later we found out to be as one of the rising stars this year.
And both those were split decisions to Jonathan Rice that he lost. In fact, 3 of the 5 losses that Stephen Moss has had this year are by split decisions. And the man he's facing, Michael Coffie, a veteran in the sport of boxing who, among many other things, fought Fabio Wardley, who, of course, went on to win a world title.
A lot of seasoning for Coffie and a lot of near misses for Moss. And when you lose a lot of split decisions, you figure the law of averages is with you. Eventually, you'll get one. Good clubbing right hand by Moss.
Coffie has not always been the quickest starter in his pro career outside of TBL, and he's had some TBL experience, of course. You know, he's 7-8 in TBL, but that's an issue for him and doesn't always help him in this format.
No, you want to set up your shots, but don't have too much time to work with. So it's always hanging over the head of fighters, the clock. Seeing who adjusts.
Both men are really looking for big shots here. Moss has been able to rush in a couple times and not pay the price.
We'll talk about studying. Guys are studying like it's an exam.
Yeah, this is a very tactical heavyweight fight. This is more of the way we see early rounds in heavyweight fights that are 8 to 10 rounds. Not so much what we see in the TBL, which is often among the heavyweights the most exciting. There's some good body work by Moss.
Here's Coffie trying to come back at him. Another good body shot.
Yeah, Moss is really concentrated downstairs, and he's a pretty good body puncher. Coffie has a good right hand when he throws it. Sometimes it doesn't materialize enough.
All right, so here's Moss trying to utilize the inside. And Moss going in and out. Stepping on the pedal a little bit, both fighters realizing it's the last minute.
Yeah, well, there's that right from Coffie, and it made Moss hang on.
That was a good shot by Coffie.
He has got a good right hand. I've seen him in several fights I've announced where that right hand made a difference.
And there's a good left hook by Coffie. So some high-quality shots coming in the waning moments of the last launch round between Boston and Nashville.
The last minute of this match has been very, very good, and boy, they're going at it now.
Good right hand by Moss, left hand by Coffie. Not a good quality last minute. They gave the judges something to evaluate.
Stephen Moss talking to his bench. Did I do enough to win? Well, he had a good start, and then Coffie came back, and there's the right hand that I referenced by Coffie. It's a good one, but Moss doing great work downstairs to the body. And as this fight went on, this one round, it heated up, and Coffie landed some really good shots while Moss was on the ropes. The last definitive punch was that left from Moss.
TBL fans, the winner of round 8 by split decision. From the Boston Butchers, Michael Coffie. At the end of the launch rounds, Boston leads Nashville 5-3.
So, Michael Coffie, the 39-year-old veteran, gives Boston a 2-point lead after the launch rounds. I know you want to see all the action, and we'll tell you what's coming up. Here's Dave Bontempo.
Thanks, Al. We're excited about the action tonight, and we will cap off the week with Los Angeles and Phoenix. That is a great rivalry, two teams, starting with Phoenix coming in the league last year as a new team. Their matchups are always tight. That's tomorrow. Then we go into the following week, and it's a big lineup. Las Vegas and Atlanta on May 29th. The Philadelphia Smoke, the only unbeaten team in the league, will face the same Boston Butchers we're watching here. And Nashville, whom we're also watching, will face Miami. Important matchups for these teams as the season is grinding down into the second half and we approach the playoffs. Stay with us all season long on Team Boxing League. Boston has inched out to a 5-3 lead after the launch rounds. And so now we'll go on to the middle rounds as we go in to decide this contest. Dave Bontempo and Al Bernstein with you. Pretty technical first round, all decisions.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You know, we had a lot of fights that were pretty close, men trying to figure out the styles, and we're going to see some of them again as we move on. They may have figured it out.
All right, so let's take a look at some of the highlight rounds that we picked from the launch round, starting with round 3. We talked about Brooke Evans and how she found this league and how the bare knuckles and the cage fighting type stuff has always helped her, and she just went right out and tried to take care of business. This was a good, entertaining scrap against her opponent, Gage, and it went right down to the wire. Good right hands for her. She took a few, but this is a fighter who had lost a few fights in a row, coming forward the same way, and off the schneid onto the scoreboard. That was good for her. That was one of our highlight rounds. And the other one, the guy we've been talking about all night.
Yeah, we really focused in on this. Isaiah Elrod, an excellent fighter, 3-1 record this season, and he's been solid for Nashville. But things like that uppercut from way out by Ellis, the creativity, the hand speed of him was just a little bit too much for Isaiah Elrod, and he's going to have another opportunity to get after Ellis again later in the evening, but Rashidi Ellis got the job done.
All right, so that's a great start for Boston. Nashville hanging right there with them. And we are going to look at our round to watch here, which is number 15. Right?
Yeah, this features cruiserweights. Leechman, who is fascinating because he came down from heavyweight, and now he is undefeated this year as a cruiserweight. And he's going to take on Miguel Teo, a seasoned fighter in the TBL, who is capable of getting some big wins. So it should be an interesting matchup.
And Miguel Teo got a big win to get something off of his back the last time out. We'll talk more about that. Let's go inside for the middle rounds, and here is Ray Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to begin the middle rounds between the Boston Butchers and Nashville Smash. Round 9 at featherweight, Boston, Natalie Gage. Nashville, Shelby Cannon.
We saw Gage earlier against Brooke Evans. She'll try to even it up here against Shelby Cannon. 2-1 in bare knuckle. Did lose a title fight to Agnieszka Karakosian. And she's 4-1 in MMA. 35-year-old from Anderson, Indiana. All right, so Gage has had a good amount of time to rest up and come in for another round here. Different opponent.
Yeah, and only in team boxing will you face an aggressive right-hander and then a left-hander next out of the box. And Gage just got hit with an overhand left by Cannon.
Cannon aggressive with a good left hand to the head. Good body shot. Nice. Big left hand again by Cannon. And you can see that she's lining that up like it's going to come out of a cannon.
Gage is trying to move to her left to stay away from that, but Cannon's found a home for it.
And she's timing it with her footwork, setting up a good spot to launch it from.
The Smash would love it if Cannon in her debut in the TBL would add another good woman performer to their contingent.
Yeah, and also even to pick up some extra points we haven't seen yet tonight, and the aggression of Cannon. Setting up that maybe we could get some fireworks someplace. And you could easily walk into trouble too.
And there's the straight right that Gage used as a counterpunch in her first fight against Evans. And you would think you'll see a little bit more of that. We'll see if Gage can land that in the last minute of this round. It hasn't been the perfect round for Gage so far with those overhand lefts from Cannon.
We talked about at the end of the last round that Gage was in that figured at some point during the year she'll sit down in her punches more. Right now she's punching going backwards, has been with the right hand. If she's stepping, she'll get more into it.
And she's coming forward now, but taking some shots from Cannon.
Good left hand by Cannon, and
Gage showing us the left hook, which she hasn't thrown much of, but landed it perfectly, but just has not been able to move Cannon.
Good left hand by Cannon. And I think what we'll see, also as you look at Cannon going down the road, will she be able to add the jab into her arsenal to prevent her from getting hit on the counter and taking away some of her good offense. But a spirited effort for Cannon coming out of the box for Nashville.
you know, Natalie Gage, however she ends up in the win-or-loss column tonight, has been involved in 2 exciting fights. That's that overhand left from early in the round that Cannon landed, and then Gage, you know, trying to counter her effectively, and Cannon getting some good work on the inside. And there's the right hand from Gage that we talked about. She's got a badge of honor from 2 tough brawls that she's been in. She did not draw easy opponents here tonight.
Righty and a southpaw, both feisty opponents, and both good fights.
Team Boxing League fans, the winner of round 9 by unanimous decision. From the Nashville Smash, Shelby Cannon. The score, Boston 5, Nashville 4. Round 10 and lightweight. Boston, Embry, Francois. Nashville, Austin, Dulay.
All right, so this is an interesting one. Austin Dulay, the son of the Nashville coach. First action since June of 2025. He's got a 18-4 mark with a 3-fight win streak in traditional boxing, and he's 7-4 in TBL with 3 straight wins there.
You know, Francois comes in here with a win in TBL against a very crafty lefty, Claudio Marrero. So he just got a win against this very style.
Amelia, what Dulay is back after a while away. What is the situation around him and coming back, and your thoughts on him?
I mean, it's definitely, one of those things where you have to stay busy. You know, life for us athletes happens whether we're participating or not. He recently had a baby earlier this week, or I think last week, so I think his 3rd child, and I think he's happy to be back in the ring. Coming into an opponent like Hebrew Francois, you know, Smiley he's a very good athlete. A Dominican athlete that has been on the national, international scene. So, you know, with Austin being on the team, his dad is his coach, and trying to kind of step back into that, I think it was a bit of a test in his mind about how today was going to go, you know, and trying to really lock things in.
All right, so we'll see if Dulay can create some energy and a shot in the arm for this Nashville team. Halfway through the round, 5-4 Boston. Boston leading 5-3 after the launch rounds, and Nashville winning the first of the middle rounds here.
You know, Austin Dulay in traditional boxing has only lost to top fighters like Jose Valenzuela, Diego Magdalena, and Chris Colbert. You know, but he just took a huge right hand from Francois, and he smiled, even saying, "Okay, that was pretty good." But he has defeated others. But Francois is, to me, an example of a fighter who you see growing here in the TBL. I mean, even from the beginning of the season, I feel like he's coming into his own even more.
That was a nice win over Claudio Marrero.
It really was.
Guy who was 22-12 coming in there.
Yeah, I agree. And so this Haitian-born fighter is showing constant improvement.
All right, so here is the jab of Francois. Crowding Austin Dulay. The ring generalship throughout this fight by Francois. Tries to even up his TBL record, and here's Dulay trying to make a final statement as we come down to the final bell in round 10.
Well, Austin Dulay back, and a nice smile from him, which you kind of expect. And Francois, as you pointed out, was a very good ring general in that match. And he seems happy with his work. I think for the most part, he did very well in that and continued the growth we've seen from him this season.
He boxed very smartly. Made it difficult for Dulay to find him.
Team Boxing League fans, the winner of round 10 by unanimous decision from the Boston Butchers, Francois. The score, Boston 6, Nashville 4. Round 11, super lightweight, Boston Sage Rosario, Nashville Susana Rodriguez Griffin.
All right, so we've been told by someone who knows, don't blink in this fight. That was Amelia's comment at the top of the show. So here we go. We will not blink. Sage Rosario, celebrated the champion on many levels. Susanna Griffin, 2 wins over Joy Pendel, lost to Erica Farias, 42-year-old from Indianapolis, going against a 19-year-old. So generational, all types of battles here.
Yeah, Griffin started boxing at 39. She's promoted shows in Indianapolis. She has, been involved in boxing and has shown, she's 2-1 in this season 4. She has shown she's a skillful fighter. Rosario coming out quick.
Well, you know what, those blinding hits, and maybe opportunities for our extra points. We haven't had any yet. This is the first chance the referee can step in, and we do. That is how you get 4 the quick way. Sage Rosario with a huge effort here, an explosion, and Boston has a 4-point bomb go off. And this is a team that has had trouble getting knockouts. It held them back last year. Have they found some TNT?
Boy, did they ever. The overhand right for sure was one of the weapons, although she threw great combinations to both the body and the head. And it just overwhelmed Griffin, who couldn't deal with the youth, the speed, the power of Sage Rosario. And everyone expects this woman to be a star in women's boxing.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 47 seconds of round 11. A referee charge. Damien Walden waves off the block for your winner by TKO. 4 points going to the Boston Butchers, Sage Rosario.
Well, that's a real game changer.
The score, Boston 10, Nashville 4.
10-4 now.
Round of 12 at welterweight. Boston, John Bess. Nashville, Kaeo Walden.
Very unusual sight. Boston with a 6-point lead in any match. We've seen them in so many tight matches that have gone down to the wire, but they have found the magic intangible tonight in Sage Rosario. You find that, a lot of good things are going to happen as we now go to Bess and Walden.
Kill Walden, if they're thinking that they want someone to stop the bleeding, he might be the guy because he's 4-1. He's only lost a split decision to Jose Shalat, and he is a very, very solid fighter with great amateur credentials and 2-0 as a pro. He's the guy you probably want in there right now.
All right, so Walden split with Osvaldo Lopez and Jose Chalet, and Bess 8-0 in 8-round circuits as he tries to come in here and continue the good work for his team. Amelia has a special guest for us. Go ahead.
Emery, it's 2 years. You're in your 2nd season here with Team Boxing League, and I feel like it's kind of a disservice that we haven't gotten you on the mic. You're hailing out of Chicago. I heard that we might be expanding to Chicago. Are you still with the Boston Butchers next year in the event Chicago brings up a team?
Yeah, I'm with the Boston Butchers.
Okay, I was going to say, because you do have a, Red Sox tattoo on your shoulder?
Yeah, I got it.
Show the people, show the people. So I knew that the round against Leandric Josh Johnson was going to be a good round. You guys are very mirror-like of each other. adjustments going forward into that next round so you can pull out the win?
I just gotta be more active, just not posing. That's it.
I was thinking the same thing. Moving with that jab, getting off the line. You just don't have to, you don't have to trade with him. Get out from in front of him.
Yeah, I feel like he was waiting on me anyway. You know, he's a smaller fighter. I don't know why I sat there. Sometimes I just get anxious, you know.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you to sing. This man is a phenomenal singer. We don't have time, but I am excited to see your next round. I'll get you on the mic again next time. So hope to see those adjustments, and you're always exciting to watch. Al, Dave?
All right, so Bess and Walden with about 1:15 left to do business. And 4, Boston enjoying a huge lead.
Best looking for his first win this in TBL, and this season he's 0-2. This is his debut season in Team Boxing League.
Walden having racked up 4 wins. And this is an important strategic moment for Nashville. You've just been bombarded, and you were right there, and now the pull away. You're into the middle rounds. You don't want the train to leave the station. So this is a critical junction, these next few fights for Nashville.
See Walden landing a good right hand there. That, of course, was kind of a throwdown. I don't know if he'll suffer any penalty from the referee for that. That's shaken up by it. Oh, boy, maybe injured.
What did he land in a funny way? He's allowed to take a little time from the referee here. Looks like he's bouncing up okay. Final seconds. All right, so they embrace. Will Nashville go within 5, or will it be 7?
Well, they're debating whether each one will use some illegal tactics. Walden with some good body work, and he had landed a nice right hook, and then he just kind of threw him down.
That could have been.
Could easily have. He's mad about the holding and playing, talking to the referee, but that could have been a point deduction.
Well, it depends on who you get. Some referees will call that.
TBL fans, the winner of round 12 by unanimous decision from the Nashville Smash, Kyle Walden.
Important win
The score, Boston
for Nashville.
10, Nashville 5.
All right, so Boston has a 10-5 lead, and they can thank this new sensation, Sage Rosario, for the quick way. We'll be back with the second half of the middle rounds in a moment. Boston is off to the races. Nashville trying to stay in this. And let's go inside for more of the middle rounds.
Round 13 at super middleweight. Boston, Ellis. Nashville 1, Barajas.
So Ellis 18-5-2 as a traditional pro, 9-16 in TBL, 2-3 this year. 2 losses, 2 years. Mel Ruiz, a very talented fighter, and Barajas 4-2 this year. 4 wins in a row. 2 wins over new fighters. Now comes back into tougher competition.
Yeah, and you know, Barajas has really fought his best in recent fights. So you're right, Ellis is a little tougher than maybe a couple of the people he faced, but Barajas has really improved in this. He's 5-11 in TBL, but as we look at some of his numbers, the overall record not great, but this 4-fight win streak has been impressive by him.
And like we say, you ask the fighter, what's your record? 4-0. They remember what they've been doing, and this is a good thing for you. Amelia, what do you think about this win streak of Barajas, and how long does it take to build confidence for a fighter in the midst of a win streak? Is 4 a good number?
I would definitely say 4 is a good number. I feel like you start cruising and moving after 2. He's really been starting to figure out his punch combination and that distance. I mean, he's so tall, he's very lanky, but he's strong with that length. So, you know, that's the combination you want, right? You don't want all that length and reach, but it's flimsy. And he has such good structure.
That's so Barajas trying to dictate from the outside. Ronald Ellis, seasoned veteran, trying to get behind it inside, but he's eating some left hands.
He really is. And, you know, Ellis has, I mean, he's been in with some of the best at 168 pounds. I did his fight with Benavides and David Benavides, and he fought well, even though he lost that fight. He's not had a pro fight outside of TBL since 2024, so he's been mostly TBL action is what he's been doing. And right now he's seeing that Barajas improvement, right? He's seeing that a fighter who is throwing good combinations, quick, and throwing a complete arsenal of punches.
Yeah, we started to see that confidence come over him. A couple of fights into this, he eats some here, but I think what's really good for him is his balance.
Much better, yes. And Ellis has gotten the right hand home a couple times. He's going to want to try, and there it is again. He's going to want to try in these waning seconds to see if he can land a couple of big ones that would change the dynamic of this.
Ellis
and stay in the judge's mind.
A couple of good body shots by Ellis.
And his corner, you know, the Boston corner keeps telling Ellis that hook is there, that hook is there. You know, you're coming in, you're rolling off those punches, come up with a hook. Lead hook.
Got a lot of people chiming in. Pretty soon the only people that will chime in will be the judges.
Well, Ellis did land 2 of those nice right hands in the last 25 or 30 seconds of the round. Is it enough? And they discussed the whole situation afterwards. You see that a lot in TBL, where they'll just kind of kick it around. There's the right that we talked about. Ellis, when he was able to land it, was very effective. And again, we see it. But Barajas did so much good combination work during this round. The question will be whether that late surge by Ellis and whether some of those powerful rights made the difference for him.
TBL fans, the winner of round 13 by split decision from the Boston Butchers, Ronald Ellis. The score,
so
Boston 11, Nashville 5.
Ellis rewarded for that late rally in a tight one.
Round 14 at light heavyweight, Boston, Steve Sumpter. Nashville, William Langston.
So Steve Sumpter, 11-2 outside TBL, 10-14 inside of it, 1-4 this year. And William Langston, we've seen him bounce back, 2 losses to Rico Santana. No shame there. 2 wins over Angel Lozani, who was at that time 12-18. So he's in similar company as he comes in here.
Yeah, Langston is he beat Isaac Carbonell in a fight outside, who's, of course, well-known in TBL, and fight outside of TBL. I did that fight, and he was very impressive against him, who, of course, is a very good 175-pounder here in the TBL.
Dave Pontepo, now Bernstein with you. Boston out to that 6-point lead. Able to maintain that with that last win by Ronald Ellis.
And Sumpter's only win this year came out of disqualification, the one that cost his team a victory when Sean McCalman put him down, but hit him while he was on the mat. And it turned from a knockout win for McCalman and his team to disqualification, and Boston who get their only win of this season.
The ultimate example of taking one for the club.
Yeah. Sumpter at his best is kind of what he's doing now. A guy, oh, good, there's the right hook by Langston.
Good shot by Langston here, trying to parlay it. Good work to the body. Sensing an opportunity is William Langston, and trying to fight back with everything is Steve Sumpter. All right, this is the office of William Langston.
Sometimes Sumpter gets caught up on those ropes. He's a clever fighter in many instances, Sumpter, but sometimes the power gets to him, and Langston has hit him with some big shots.
So Sumpter taking shots. Does William Langston have an opportunity to accelerate a comeback for Nashville? Is that window still open that he started about 40 seconds ago with an opportunity?
Langston is throwing some very, very clever combinations while he's got Sumpter on the ropes, using the uppercut, the body work, and Sumpter's really feeling these punches. He needs to either counter or get off those ropes to prevent the referee from stepping in.
Yeah, we've already seen one referee stoppage tonight. Your objective is to get off there. Don't let the referee make that call.
And here he is countering at least, and he did get away from that one posture on the ropes.
Good work here by Langston. The uppercuts getting home. This has been a smother fest now by William Langston. At the worst, he gets Nashville 1 point closer, and that's probably what he's going to get. Tried for more, though.
Langston, a very solid pro. He's got a 14-6-1 record outside of the TBL, and he's just he's a workman. You know, that was ironically a jab that started the problem for Sumpter. And once he got on the ropes, this is good work by Langston. He didn't waste punches here. He threw some really good uppercuts, great body shots, and made the most of his time there. Unfortunately, for the smash, Langston doesn't get the fight again tonight.
TBL fans, the winner of round 14 by unanimous decision from the Nashville Smash, William Langston.
Right, so Langston pulls
Nashville 11-6.
Nashville within 5.
Round 15 at cruiserweight. Boston, Miguel Teo. Nashville, D'Angelo Leechman.
So Miguel Teo may have exorcised some demons in his last out. Got a split with Unieski Gonzalez. Won the first one. Gonzalez had stopped him 1 year earlier, and that was the rematch. He's 5-8 in TBL. And Leechman 11-0 as a pro and 6-0 this year in TBL.
And Leechman, like Adrian Taylor, who we saw in our last broadcast, who moved down from the heavyweight division to the cruiserweights, who is undefeated. So is Leechman, as you pointed out, 6-0 this season as a cruiserweight.
Coming down to cruiserweight. Amelia, we've seen quite a few of these successful instances. 2 that we're talking about now, and then also Erica Sanchez coming down from 140 to 126. As you see our net points up there, what is it about coming down that has been helpful to these fighters, do you think?
I mean, it's working to your strengths, I would say, especially in the case of Erica Sanchez, the height, it's like we're coming down. May she have the strength to fight that weight at 140? Maybe, yes, and great head movement. However, you're giving up advantage of being, with that height. And some people, the great thing about Team Boxing League is, we have allowing these athletes to be able to kind of fight at weight classes that are more natural, so we're not dealing so much with, big weight cuts. And so they choose to come up or they can choose to come down. But again, can you balance that? Can you have a good weight cut and maintain it over a pretty heavy season that we have, every other week or so that you're competing, and still have the snappiness, the reaction, and, the reactivity?
All right, we've seen 3 fighters be successful at it this year, the ones we've mentioned, and here, a real good one here, Teo and Leechman.
Teo didn't get the memo that the undefeated guy has to win. He is blasting away, but the right hand of Leechman, and we just saw it there, has been a pretty good weapon for him, but Teo has been busier. So that's the question. What will the judges reward? And we have still a minute left to go in this.
There's Leechman trying to swarm.
Something we don't talk about Teo enough is that he is actually, I believe it's the Honduras national team. He has dual residency or dual nationality, and he really grew from going on to that team. But I'll tell you, I saw him before at the hotel before he came out to the fight tonight, and I thought to myself, sometimes his mind can be very noisy. He is the most grounded that he's been, and I feel like it's showing in his performance tonight. He's very focused.
All right, final 25 seconds, Teo and Leechman. And it's been a good one. 2 guys coming off the momentum, and that was an excellent right hand by Leechman.
That's been his primary weapon in this round.
Signature right hand there. Oh, he tried for another one and just missed, and then comes the hook. Leechman trying to erase the deficit almost all by himself. But the clock intervenes.
This is going to be a fascinating decision because Teo was mostly the busier fighter. There was some of the action from early in the round where he was especially active, throwing a lot of combinations. This 29-year-old chicken is saying, "No, you didn't hurt me with that right hand." But Leechman was able to land some good ones. That might have been one of his best in the round, although he threw several good ones earlier. So this will be a fascinating decision.
Always nice to get that one in late.
The winner of round 15 by unanimous decision from the Boston Butchers, Miguel Teo.
So Miguel Teo.
Boston is in front of Nashville, 12-6.
Indeed did not get the memo about unbeaten fighters, and he out-hustles
At heavyweight, round
Leechman.
16, Boston, Skylar Lacy. Nashville, Danny Barlo.
All right, so Skylar Lacy been the 8-1 outside of TBL, 27-9 inside TBL. He's an original 4th-year performer. Has had 9-fight win streaks, 13-fight win streak last year. He has been very consistent.
Has not had a losing season yet in TBL. The lowest it got was a 500 season, but he has been very consistent. And Barlo, as he said in the interview, trying to work on skills from the MMA world, is going to face a guy that's very rooted in the boxing world.
We saw something interesting from Lacy in his last outing. It was a split. He lost a split decision to Alonzo Neal and then adjusted his style in the second fight to beat Nestor Santana. Instead of getting straight up, he moved more and he was busier.
Yes, yeah, the Neal fight, he was a little more stationary, and that worked for Alonzo Neal. That helped him. And Lacy capable of doing either. You know, tonight he's attacking because I think he senses the inexperience of his opponent, and I think feels like he can do that. He'll box also when he feels it's appropriate,
which he just did in the last few seconds. And yeah, the opportunity against an opponent coming in learning this style may make Skylar Lacy more aggressive. And we've seen different styles from him in different fights.
Yeah, he adapts very much. Barlo trying to, and you see him with that MMA background. MMA fighters often square themselves up, which is not recommended in boxing, because they want to do different things, not necessarily just punch.
And you get nailed with that right hand, you get nailed on the switch.
And the right hand from Lacy might well be coming here pretty soon, if there's time for him to throw it.
A minute left to go, he's sizing it up. They plant it behind a jab. Takes a shot with it there. Another one gets in by Lacy.
And Skylar Lacy, not the most accurate puncher on the planet, but he throws a lot of them. And so some of them do get through, and he is landing against Barlo. This is what Lacy does. He puts together 3 minutes of a round with a lot of punches, got a movement, unorthodox movement, and makes it kind of hard for you to hit him. And boy, he ends up on top most of the time. And he's trying to make it the 28th time in TBL.
A 3-minute stylistic sampler. Every time you see him fight, puts a few things together. A lot of attention on Rashidi Ellis getting to 30. He's been a quiet down to 28.
Yeah, good point, Dave.
Because so much of it happened throughout much of last year, and now early here.
So Skylar Lacy looks, for all the world, like he took care of business here in this fight against the inexperienced Danny Barlo. And he did it with good jabs and some occasional right hands and some excellent movement. And you've seen that before from Skylar Lacy. So the question is, will he expand this Boston lead?
TBL fans, the winner of round 16 by unanimous decision. From the Boston Butchers, Skylar Lacy.
So the Boston Butchers have a fantastic middle rounds, and they extend their lead. Well, I know you don't want to miss any action in Team Boxing League. How do you watch it? Dave Bontempo is going to tell you where to find it.
Thanks, Al. As the league audience grows, a lot of people come up to us and say, where can we see you guys? There are a lot of places where TBL has been seen. You can watch us on MSG Networks and the Gotham Sports app, as well as on our home network, Envoy Fast. Plus, the full season of Encores are on Envoy TV every day. Download the Envoy app. Connected TV users with Samsung, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Roku, and LG devices can download the TBL app and watch both live action and play previous matches on demand. TBL is also seen on YouTube, the TBL app, and in Spanish on the Estrella Network. The Boston Butchers have a bountiful middle round set and then go up on 7 points here against the host Nashville team as we take our look between the middle and the money rounds. Dave Bontempo and Al Bernstein with you. Quite a run by Boston in the middle.
Boy, they were so excellent, and you know, it came from a bunch of different places, and of course there was one major explosion.
All right, so when we look at the highlighted rounds, we're going to set this off because we talked about her at the top of the broadcast. Al, the match was close, and then it wasn't.
Boy, and this is what set Boston apart. Sage Rosario, the 19-year-old from Kansas, who is a multi-time national champion in the amateurs, making her pro debut on Team Boxing League, and it was everything people expected. This 19-year-old just destroyed Susanna Griffin and got herself a 4-point win for her team.
47 seconds the time, much of that occurring in about 20 seconds there. And then William Langston trying to help Nashville fight back and stay in it as the team had just gotten the big bomb dropped on them, and you need somebody to be able to turn the tide for you. He tried to make this the same outcome the other way and get the big 4. He couldn't get 4, but he does get 1, and Nashville is still hanging in there, down 13-6, looking for some magic in the money rounds. And what about the money rounds? What is going to be our round to watch?
Well, we originally thought to ourselves round 18 was very intriguing because Jaye Brown would be in his rematch with Hadrian Phillips. Jaye Brown won the first match between these two men, and we thought things could be very close at that point. Now, they may still be, but right now, Boston is having their way, but that one should be an interesting rematch to see if Hadrian Phillips can change things.
Interesting to me, too, that Boston getting some power. This was what hurt them last year, stopped their playoff run. The coach said, we just don't have the big punchers, and they got one tonight.
Boy, they found one in 19-year-old Sage Rosario, didn't they?
They really did, and that's going to be a big help for them as they have some weapons now for the home stretch. Speaking of the home stretch, we're ready to go to the money rounds, and let's go back inside.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to begin the money rounds between the Boston Butchers and Nashville Smash. Round 17 at featherweight, Boston, Eric Emery. Nashville, Josh Johnson.
We saw this one earlier, Emery and Johnson. And it was a close battle. We heard from the fighters, what do you have to do differently? As that one went Johnson's way. See what kind of adjustments Embry will make.
Yeah, Johnson was through some more combinations, I think, than Emery did, and that was probably the difference. It wasn't so much he was always accurate. He did use a pretty good left hook during the course of that round, and that might have been the difference.
Take a good look at some of the credentials for Josh Johnson. He's been on a good run, helping this team, lately with 3 in a row. And we talked earlier about his knockdown, and the same night he had lost a split decision to the same fighter, Daniel Bailey. And, you know, a lot of things in this team concept, opportunities. You know, one night you might not be on, one fight you might not be on, then you get a knockdown, and all of a sudden your team vaults into the lead. A lot of back and forth. Johnson had special delivery stamped for that right hand that just missed.
Yeah, he is really trying to get that punch in, and, as well as the left hook, and that one missed by a little bit.
He's also reflecting the urgency that this Nashville team faces, because the math is against them. In order to win at this point, they would have to sweep the entire money rounds if it was all decisions.
Yeah.
So you have to think about, where can we get the bonus bundle like Sage Rosario got for Boston?
Yeah, and you don't know if there's that many opportunities to do that. This one has been a kind of a tactical affair. Johnson has not been very effective offensively, but neither has Emery, really. And it's been Johnson coming forward most of the time, so that may influence the judges as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good tiebreaker element. Johnson attacking, driving Emery back, trying to get him to walk into the path of a big right hand, which did not happen. But it's a fight that optically, it looks like Johnson did enough. We'll see how the judges feel about it.
Emery was just so economical with his punches in that round. And it might be tough for him to get a decision. Pawing with the jab, did land that nice right hand early on. Johnson landing the hook, which was his kind of signature punch in that round. So we'll see.
TBL fans, the winner of round 17 by split decision from Nashville, Josh Johnson.
So Johnson gives Nashville a good start in the money rounds.
Boston 13, Nashville 7. Round 18 at super welterweight, Boston, J.A. Brown. Nashville, Adrian Phillips.
All right, so it's Brown and Phillips.
Adrian
Rematch.
Phillips had a hard time really doing a good enough job offensively when they met the first time. J.A. Brown, it ended up being a split decision, much to the shock and horror of J.A. Brown. But Phillips just needs to be able to sustain his offense a little better in this round.
Yeah, J.A. Brown with the body English to try to let you know that he had it. So, Amelia, what do you think of this matchup and the adjustments and where these fighters are?
You know, I was coming from that first round that they shared. What I really felt was Jai did a good job with those very jousting body shots. He changes levels very well, and just getting Phillips, he's very strong and trying to be able to kind of break up that footwork. So Jai does a good job with the in and out, being able to have lateral movement and kind of maintain his distance. And so can Phillips make the adjustment off of that with those long arms of J.A. Brown?
Yeah, now that J.A. Brown have been cutting off the ring effectively, and now here comes Phillips. These are the type of opportunities he had their first time when he got them.
Yeah, he's throwing a better left hook than he did even in the first round. And when he attacks and does that good body work, he's effective. And what he's doing now is making J.A. Brown, who doesn't always want to come forward, J.A. Brown is conscious of how to win in this league. You know, he does it a lot. And getting chastised for that left hook on the break. But Brown knows when he has to go offensive because the other guy had a great moment offensive.
He turned right into it. And one thing about Phillips, as you take a look, he's very wide with his punches.
Yeah, that's part of an issue, but for Brown, though, we're fighting Brown, you kind of almost have to come wide sometimes to land around that close guard. And the body work by Phillips has been good, so interesting. There's Brown with that kind of counter left hook.
Now Brown trying to go to work with Phillips in the corner, and Phillips punching back off of them. Good left hook by Brown, clubbing right hand by Brown, sensing there could be more perhaps
This is classic J.A. Brown. Didn't have a great beginning of this round, not even maybe the middle, but he is landing showy, great punches in the last part of the round. And will that stay in the judge's mind?
Something I noticed about Phillips is he gets his shots off. He likes to do the body work very strong, but then he leans in with his head and covers up. It's prime real estate for an uppercut. He's got to be careful.
Veteran moves here by Brown.
That would be an interesting round, and I wouldn't be surprised to see another split decision here. And the jabs of Phillips early. This is early in the round where he was being very, very active. He initiated a hold there, and there is Brown landing in the last 40 seconds or so of the round. He landed some very showy punches and good punches.
So they both had moments. Which one gets the W?
By unanimous decision. From the Boston Butchers, J.A. Brown. Boston is in front of Nashville, 14-7. Round 19 at welterweight. Boston, Kino Luna. Nashville, Yasir Riley.
Okay, Luna and Riley. Riley won their first matchup tonight. Very promising first year for Yasir Riley. Amelia standing by with a special guest. Go ahead.
I'm down ringside, Nashville Smash, Jenna Ortega. Oh my God, I just called you Jenna Ortega. From Wednesday, Bianca, I'm so sorry. And we talked earlier about this actually being your TBL debut tonight. You've had an extensive background with the amateurs, but I noticed that you're from Laredo, Texas. Do you know Jennifer Lozano?
No, Jenny.
Okay, I was wondering, was any of that, did you share the same gym? Have you had any influence with kind of that journey, or did she have any on you?
So we've trained together back at camp and sparred each other. She's definitely helped me grow in the sport. I was living in San Antonio for a while, though.
Okay, I was just curious. I saw that and I was like, my goodness, we have two very talented athletes. Jennifer Lozano is a 2024 Olympian, so for context for the audience. So tonight you had that opportunity to share the ring with Cruz. I felt so much that you had really great presence in there. I could see the assertiveness and the aggressiveness of exactly what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a blessing just to be here and be able to debut with such a seasoned opponent. It's a blessing to be able to showcase my skills at this level.
And keep growing, my dear. I believe I see the future ahead of you is so very bright. And we will see you next Sunday.
Yes, I will.
Wonderful work. Thank you, Bianca.
Okay, Kino Luna and Yasir Riley. Final minute 15 of their matchup.
Riley's been doing such good work here this season, and Luna's been an interesting match for him. You know, he's been tricky as a left-hander.
See that lead right hand get in from Riley.
Riley has found a way in these two encounters to maybe do a little bit more of the effective offensive work, but not by much. And as I said, the lefty style of Luna has been a challenge for him.
Nashville so far doubling up, being doubled up by Boston 14-7. To battle individual matchups, and really can Nashville find a power broker? That is what that team is going to need now as Boston started to make the math look very difficult for Nashville.
Riley thinking also from his own standpoint, did I do enough to keep my winning streak going here in season 4?
They came in with having won 4, won the first one.
There's one of the nice left hooks that Riley landed, and he has a good left hook, and the right as well. Luna, while he did a good job tactically in both these rounds, did not do a lot of offense, and you have to have some of that.
TBL fans, the winner of round 19 by unanimous decision from the Nashville Smash, Yasir Riley.
So, yes, he did do enough, and the O stays for Yasir Riley.
Round 20 at middleweight, Boston, Rashidi Ellis. Nashville, Isaiah Elrod.
Well, a rematch of our round to watch back in round 7, and it was a good one between Ellis and Elrod.
The hand speed of Rashidi Ellis was just a little too much for Elrod. Elrod did find a home in the last minute of the round for his straight left. We'll see if he can repeat that at all during the course of this round.
So take a look at Rashidi Ellis, net points per round, perfection, 1.0 plus 7. And this has been why he's been Mr. Reliable. And in some ways, the face of the franchise for Boston.
Yeah, and mixing in power this year with a total of 3 knockdowns. We know he's an excellent boxer, both here and in regular boxing. He's a showman, that's for sure.
If he could only have some fun in there.
Yeah. Just, don't suppress your personality anymore.
Good right hands here by Ellis, and the quick feet, the lateral movement, that sneaky right hand that seems to come out of nowhere.
Elrod came into, there's the straight left hand from Elrod. It's a good punch, and he's been able to use it very effectively this season in the TBL. And it's just hard to get in against Ellis because, his defensive skills are so good in addition to his hand speed and his offense.
Some flashes of quickness by both fighters. Elrod with that straight left hand, which he punched when Ellis did to try and time it right. And Ellis with that blazing yet sneaky right hand.
And the other thing about Rashidi Ellis is he takes a good punch. I did this fight with Roman Villa, who's a monstrous puncher, and he had Ellis in some trouble, but couldn't stop him, although it ended up being the one loss of Rashidi Ellis's career, which was a questionable decision as well. But you really have to hit him with something big to hurt him on top of everything else when you can hit him.
Yeah, and Elrod's been a guy who he's come to fight tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And has had some good moments. There was that left uppercut again that Ellis landed in the first round they fought, and he tried it again there, and it kind of got there. And there it is again. He wants to land that punch. Now, if the Elrod right hook can come at that moment, he might land something big against Ellis.
Ellis can land an explosive uppercut or a right hand from a look that you don't think is coming.
Yes. This has been a little bit of a better round for Elrod than the first one, but I'm not sure it's a winning round for him. Ellis has missed a lot of those big punches.
He had more fun with the ones he missed than the ones that connected because of the theatrics involved.
Well, and that's part of selling the judges, to be honest.
Yeah.
Speedy Ellis is good at that, He and Jaye Brown are both very adept at it. And we revisit some of those intriguing moments from him. Yeah.
That's the shake and bake.
Yeah, and
Did you get that? He's looking at the photographer. Did you get that?
Yes, he wanted to make sure he had a really good shot.
The winner of round 20 by way of unanimous decision. From the Boston Butchers, Rashidi Ellis. Boston leads Nashville 15-8. We'd like to thank our fine sponsors.
All right, so Boston's train continues in runaway fashion. The Butchers are having a big night in Nashville. They continue to enjoy the big lead. Stay with us. Boston is enjoying a big night in Nashville. Time to get down to the last 4 money rounds, and here's Ray Flores.
Round of 21 will be at light heavyweight. Boston, Stephen Sumpter. Nashville, William Langston.
All right, so Langston has a win over Sumpter tonight. Try to make it a double or better.
And it was a pretty decisive victory in which we were wondering if another point or 4 points could be added on. Sumpter has got to make sure he doesn't get caught on the ropes like he did in their first encounter. And Langston just was teeing off on him with effective uppercuts and body shots. He wants to try to avoid that.
You can make the argument that Langston actually came the closest of any of the Nashville fighters to getting a stoppage, and he was the one who really went for it. He had Sumpter against the ropes and teed off with a lot of in-close punches.
And a great punch selection as well during that. And Sumpter is a very clever fighter and can create a certain pace sometimes where he can land some counter punches and negate his opponent's offense, but it doesn't always lead to victories. And as we said, the only win he's got in TBL this season came when there was a disqualification. Although in pro boxing, he's 11-2 outside of TBL.
Here's Langston jabbing, trying to get inside, trying for opportunity here. Sumpter on those ropes, gets off.
And really, for Sumpter, his only mission is to stay upright.
Yes, yes.
At this juncture.
The team up by 7.
Team. I mean, he doesn't want a loss against his record, of course, but if he doesn't get knocked down or knocked out, you know, he's done his job.
And he was kind of conveying the idea that he knew that with the movement, but he stumbled and got trapped in here. So this opened the door for whatever chance Langston has now, and he digs those shots to the body, trying to parlay the opening given to him.
Sumpter has been much better about not getting caught on the ropes, though, as much. And now here he is in that posture again.
Yeah, it's happened twice in the last minute.
And he's countering off the ropes.
First time was a stumble that brought him back to the ropes, and then the last time was just got brought back there. All right, so here is Langston fighting the clock, fighting the odds, fighting the numbers. Even though he's ahead, his team trails by 7. He's trying to pull a rabbit out of the hat for his team, and at the worst, try to get a point for them. Gritty battle inside. Sumpter taking the elbows of Langston.
Sumpter has done a better job of countering enough to keep Langston at bay at various times, at least a little bit.
Yeah, and also being trapped on the ropes. This is where the referee can come in. He only came in there to say the round is over. You don't want to see the referee coming toward you with an intent look on his face.
Well, Langston, again, in this round, in great part, had Sumpter trapped. Now, this was Sumpter doing some good counterpunching on the ropes, and he did do that on occasion. I don't know if he did enough to win this round. The right hook to the body for Langston was just a very good weapon in this round.
It's his weapon of choice.
TBL fans, the winner of round 21 by way of unanimous decision. From the Nashville Smash, William Langston.
So Langston makes it a double.
Round 22 in the heavyweight division. Boston, Skylar Lacy. Nashville, Danny Barlo.
Right, we didn't see them very long ago. They closed out, closing out the middle rounds. So now Skylar Lacy and Barlo go at it again. Decisive win for Lacy the first time.
Yeah, he was able to take advantage of Barlo's lack of actual boxing experience. He's really more of an MMA practitioner, and get the job done pretty well. Let's see if Barlo can come up with anything to change that. He did threw a lot of overhand lefts that just couldn't find the mark.
Fighters who have been new coming into TBL, charging it. The nuance of how to work your way in, that all comes with a lot of practice, and it's not something that you're going to have right away. So you pay a price to come in.
And in this round, we see Lacy using a lot more movement. And he may be trying to walk Barlo into a right hand and see then if he can unload against him.
There's the right hand from a distance.
Lacy's professional career outside of TBL has been a fascinating one. He's had 3 draws and a disqualification in his last 5 fights. So he's had a unique journey for sure. And along with it, 8 wins. But, you know, it's been an interesting, slightly uneven road.
And also the type of fighter who, if you have a prospect, you don't want to face him.
No.
Not going to look good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fighters are being warned about infractions on both sides. So lecture's over, back to the action. It is hard for Barlo to get inside what has been a persistent jab, even if it's just being shown by Lacy.
Yeah, the other problem is when Barlo comes in, he squares himself up, and even when he throws the left, he's not throwing it with power. See, look, I mean, he got a jab in accidentally from the wrong stance. So it's, you know, there's a lot of technique issues for Danny Barlo right now, and he's trying to make the most of his aggression and toughness. You know, he's shown toughness here.
Lacy trying to load up the right hand.
You know, Lacy has thrown a lot of jabs in this round. Most of them haven't landed, but they have set the tone, and some have gotten there, and they have kept Barlo, for the most part, at bay.
Yeah, these are his keep-away jabs. Barlo does get one looping shot over the top, but you see what he had to do to get it in.
And Skylar Lacy doesn't do this looking like the classic boxer, but it has the exact same effect. He's boxing effectively. And you don't need to get style points when you're doing everything right to win your fight. He's got some things to say.
He's going to get a double tonight for Boston.
Looks like it.
No words to your opponent after that. So. We don't usually see him ticked off. So that's.
Team Boxing League fans, the winner of round 22 by way of split decision. From Boston, wow. Skylar Lacy.
That's fascinating.
The score of Boston 16, Nashville 9.
They did get it right on the overall. So Skylar Lacy gets his double.
Money round will be at welterweight. Boston, Javon Bess. Nashville, Kaeo Walden.
Tyson Bess and Walden go at it. 2 rounds to go.
Yeah, Walden controlled their first fight enough to get a decision win, his 5th of this season. And at that moment, it kind of helped stem the tide a little bit for Nashville, but needless to say, it didn't add points beyond the 1 point he got. So it wasn't quite enough to change things.
Yeah, how definitive that one punch and that one knockout can be in a fight, and its reverberating effect all the way down the line. That was only in the middle rounds when Sage Rosario scored that 4-point win for Boston that broke this wide open. It was only a 2-pointer at the end of the launch rounds. And we've been right at about that number since. He put them up by 6. It's 7 now.
Yeah, at best, Nashville's been able to maybe keep it relatively even from that point on, but it's not enough to bite into the lead. You know, Bess is looking for his first TBL victory, so for him, right at this moment, while the team aspect is kind of might be almost settled for his team, he would like to make something, you know, happen at this juncture.
Yes, you do travel with your teammates, you practice with them, you eat with them, you talk to them, and you don't want them saying, come on, man, you get that next one. So they're all behind him here, trying to do that.
Yeah, and even if he takes a few chances here, you know, he's not likely to endanger that victory.
Yeah, the guy 8-0 as a traditional boxer. The 8-round circuit, so that's fairly deep into the structure.
Only 2 KOs, so he's not a monstrous puncher, but he would like to see if he could outwork Walden. Walden's a very, very experienced amateur, and 2-0 as a pro. He's a national champion, so he's a tough man he's a tough out there. And there was bad blood between these 2 men in the first fight, and it's kind of seeping into this one as well. Walden threw him down at one point.
And Walden enjoying the most of his first year, up to 5-2 now. Good combination attempted here by Bess. Scored with part of it. Probably wants to get himself a little bit closer to his opponent before he throws that jab. A little short with it.
Good exchange of power punches, and the right hand for Bess has started to creep in here, and that was a pretty good ending of the round. It was a better round for Bess than he had in the first round. Whether it was enough for him to win remains to be seen. He's kind of happy with his work.
Well, you always love to know that you've improved, and he did.
It's the end of the round where we saw some good exchanges between these 2 men. Walden attacking, and they were animated with each other throughout.
TBL fans, the winner of round 23 by way of unanimous decision. From the Nashville Smash, Kaeo Walden.
All right, so good run of fights for Walden in recent times. Good-looking first-year fighter in this circuit.
Our final money round will be at lightweight. For Boston, Alexi de la Cruz. Nashville, Roger Hilly.
That was a good one the first time between De La Cruz and Hilly. De La Cruz getting the nod. De La Cruz and Hilly.
Roger Hilly is not a known for his power necessarily. He can get knockouts, but it's not his stock in trade. And of course, that wouldn't bring a victory in any case to the Nashville Smash.
Take a look at De La Cruz. Good win streak going for him. Net points, he's on the upside in his first season after a stellar amateur record.
Yeah, he's been a pleasant addition to Boston. And if this win tonight, you know, puts them a step ahead, and if they can build on it and march into the playoffs again, this is a man that you get a feeling, Dave, they're going to rely on a little bit and feel like he's one of those people that we talked about that you can look for some solid wins.
Amelia, what do you think is potential carryover effect for Boston after this performance tonight, and especially after what we saw from Sage Rosario?
Yeah, I mean, the addition of Sage is going to be definitely a strengthening point and something that they've been seeking all season. You know, they weren't able to bring in Stevie Jane Coleman with her being out injured, and so trying to fill that spot, and you know, I'm out too because I had the injury with my last fight, so it's like trying to fill that spot's been such a weak point. I feel like the energy of this team has been so incredible when I got to talk to them earlier today that I have this sense that they're finally like gelling, and that carryover is what's going to really create the energy to go against a team like Philly next week, you know, and that's a short turnaround, 7 days.
Yeah, Boston was a playoff team last year. Suffered from the lack of power, knockouts, and we saw one tonight that might be an illustration. And here in this fight, Al, another great battle for these guys.
Yeah, they put on a good show the first time, and they are this time as well. Two lefties that are doing good work.
All right, so here is Hilly trying to close out and be aggressive. And De La Cruz trying to have something for him. First fight was close between them. You get the sense that this one has been competitive too. And our final fight of the night goes into the books. Rashidi Ellis likes what he's seen all night long.
Couple of wins for him and his team.
He was celebrating in the ring too. I don't think he stopped smiling and dancing tonight. All right, so this is a excellent road win for the Butchers, and do they close it out with panache?
TBL fans, the winner of round 24 by way of unanimous decision. From the Boston Butchers, Alexi de la Cruz.
Well, he certainly knew how to play up to that. Give me what I want to hear. You got it, Alexi de la Cruz. So Boston, with a string of wins at the end, it continues its dominance throughout the money rounds. A big night for the Butchers. Their big performers came through, and we'll be back to take it more and get honors after this. Team Boxing League is brought to you by Balance of Nature. In boxing, consistency beats intensity. Balance of Nature supplements help you stay consistent with ingredients of whole food you can easily slot into your daily routine. Go to balanceofnature.com, use code TEAM, and start today. Speaking of code TEAM, this Boston team was energized by their star of the fight tonight and the newcomer, Sage Rosario.
19-year-old came in with all kinds of amateur credentials, and she came in firing against Susanna Griffin. Dominated the round completely, and those overhand rights made the referee step in to stop the fight, and Sage Rosario announces herself as a pro.
All right, so we'll see more about that inside, I'm sure. Let's send it inside and hear the honor roll for tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Municipal Auditorium here in Nashville, Tennessee, your final score, the Boston Butchers 17, the Nashville Smash 10. Here are the 3 stars of the fight. Your number 3 star, Nashville Smash Light Heavyweight, William Langston. The number 2 star, Boston Butchers lightweight, Alexia de la Cruz. Balance of Nature, number 1 star, Boston Butchers super lightweight, Sage Rosario. And the round of the night, round number 8 between Michael Coffie and Stefana Moss.
Coach Alex Rivera, how good does it feel to finally actually pull off this win tonight, get back into the standings?
You know what? I was a little bit worried because we usually start like this and then we let it go. But I think we got the hold of it. We stayed in the lead and we didn't look back.
Looked great. It must have been the new hat.
It must have been the new hat, and I want to give you guys words of wisdom. If you worry about the price that you will pay for going for it, wait until you see the price you'll pay for staying in the same spot. And that's it.
And that's it. Thank you, Coach. Alexi, you have been such a fantastic addition to the Boston Butchers. I had called out your round earlier tonight as one to watch, and you definitely, absolutely delivered.
Estaba diciendo que tu asalto era un asalto para ver para toda la gente. Es el nuevo miembro al Boston Butchers, este equipo. ¿Qué piensas de qué está pasando con Boston y están aquí con Team Boxing League?
Bueno, primeramente le doy las gracias a Dios, después al equipo por darme la oportunidad y con el favor de Dios seremos campeón, ya verán.
Listen, I want to thank God first and foremost. Being a part of this Boston team is such an honor and a pleasure, and being a part of Boston. And honestly, my focus is to help this team become champions.
Excellent work, Alexi. Thank you. Sage Rosario, please step into the limelight. Let's finish out this show together. First of all, congratulations, pro debut, making a statement. I had a sense when you came in tonight that you knew exactly what you wanted to do, and then you just went in there and did it.
Yes, ma'am, of course. Anytime I'm coming to the ring, I'm coming to finish anybody, and I can. And let's just say this. We got Philly Smoke next week, and Stacia, I want you next.
I don't even have another question to ask, because I was literally going to ask you, how is your energy going into next week? It's a big pull, a big draw in that bracket next week with Philly Smoke, but I think the message has been sent.
Hey, I got one thing to say. If you betting, bet the house on me. I got it. I got it. Boston Butchers coming. Let's go.
Thank you, Sage. Amazing energy. Al, Dave, back to you.
All right, so we've seen Stacia Suttles called out for the first time in the 2 years that I've been here and in the time that you've been here as well. I found it interesting that they ended up 17-10. It was 10-4 after the knockout that she had. So on either side of that knockout, very close fights. That one thing changed everything.
It really did, and it looked like Boston, and they did keep the momentum going for a while, but Nashville was able to chip away and get some points. But I'll tell you what, Boston's effort, and their coach made a good point, we stayed the course, which wasn't always the case. And for Sage Rosario, kind of a mic drop moment there, wasn't it?
Yes, indeed. So we will be seeing her very soon after what she said tonight. Highlights from the money rounds. We go to round number 18. Jaye Brown for Boston. And Adrian Phillips here. Too much Jaye Brown. Yo, Adrian, you're not beating me. What a good performance by him. Pretty emblematic of what this team has been.
Yeah, Jaye Brown gets his 23rd win as in TBL, and that was impressive. And speaking of people with a lot of wins in TBL, Rashidi Ellis against Isaiah Elrod, the second time he fought him tonight, and he got yet another win, his 32nd in the Team Boxing League. And Rashidi Ellis showed hand speed, personality, and all the rest in getting his 32nd win as a Team Boxing League competitor.
Well, this was one of the most impressive performances we've seen for a Boston team on the road ever in this league, and a decisive win for them, too.
Yeah, and they're uncovering people as they go. They're finding more fighters that can be solid fighters that are going to help them as they move along, and that's impressive as well.
And I think what's interesting, too, is now they're going to get a test to see how good are we really, because they're going to face Philadelphia. All right, that is the bellwether team in the league. That is the 5-0 team. That is who everybody is shooting for. They're in the same area. They trash talk all winter, all now. And if you're Boston, that's going to be your time to take a leap if you're going to make one.
Yeah, and a 1-week turnaround for them. So it's not a long time. But if the rest of the Boston Butchers have the same confidence as Sage Rosario has, then they're going to be okay.
All right, so let's take a look at what's ahead. We know about that. We've got another one on tap this week with Los Angeles and Phoenix. Again, two teams that have to have it. Los Angeles coming up with a win in recent times. Phoenix up and down, a win earlier against Boston. So that's the lineup for that one coming through. What a night it was for the Boston Butchers. Sage Rosario was indeed a sage. Called out Stacia Suttles too? Okay, we'll be excited for what's coming up. Thank you for joining us, for my pal Al Bernstein, for our great production crew, for Amelia Moore and everybody in Team Boxing League. This is Dave Bontempo saying thank you for joining us tonight, and enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. Good night.
So I'm here with Danny Barlo. You have made such a reputation with your knockout power by breaking into the UFC with that. It's such an amazing tool that you have. Stepping into the boxing ring, you've